Hello and welcome to the Watering Hole. Thanks for checking out this clip. Don't forget to like and subscribe because that'll make the baby Jesus cry, and I know how much you guys love making the baby Jesus cry. Should we read some tweets?
I think we should read some tweets.
Let's read some tweets. All right, so we're starting off with Kevin Sorbo's "No one's trying to sexualize your kids, don't worry, so then why is it a problem to ban it?" Okay, so this is obviously about the Florida bill. The problem with the Florida bill is that it doesn't, allowing kids to be LGBTQ is not sexualizing them. Allowing them to see that other people are LGBTQ is not sexualizing them. Allowing them to know that their buddy has two moms or two dads or whatever, that is not sexualizing that child. That is just, this is how the world works.
Yes, but you don't understand. He is very strong-willed Christian conservative. This means that you have missed the vital piece of information. LGBT means predator. It all means predator to him. All of it.
And worse, they might even sit down for the pledge.
He might sit down for the pledge like a true communist, Sharia law enforcing.
Oh, God.
My God, that just reminds me of that. What's worse than this? A child.
All right.
But okay, so there's a funny thing that's happened. So with the Don't Say Gay bill. So as it's written, it explicitly bans it up to the 3rd grade, and then it has a clause right afterwards that says, or anything that can be considered age inappropriate, or anything, and that's left vague and arbitrary and up to interpretation. However, what a lot of people who watch over on my channel know, I hang around in a lot of conservative crowds because I'm in Georgia, and if you hang around people, that's just who they are.
Welcome to Georgia.
You don't find your liberals mingle with you can find wholly conservative crowds, or you can find crowds that have some liberals and conservatives, but you very rarely find the latter crowd alone outside of the middle of Atlanta. So I listened to a friend of mine complain about my reporting on the Don't Say Gay bill because he said that it only covers up to age or only covers up to grade 3. Why is that a problem? I don't understand. Bear in mind, this is a person who listened to me read the bill verbatim on stream. And then, after listening to people, I assume on Fox News, talk about it, where they omit the information instead of read the bill verbatim, then took that take and brought it to me, to which we got to have the same conversation again, but where I had to go, no, the bill as written does not say what you says it did. It doesn't. And this will be the second time I've read this bill to you, and I don't know why I have to do that.
Yeah, well, and then of course I hope teachers get on board with this, but it is Florida, so I'm not very hopeful. But the ones that are
compliance?
they're flipping it on their heads and be like, well, teaching them about straight people and that boys and girls are things that exist are also covered under this vague umbrella that was kept specifically vague.
Yep.
So it's
the whole we need the minute a teacher or the minute somebody says hey, can we split our groups into girls and boys? What are you should no. Those are naughty words. You should know about those things. No.
Yeah, no.
We can't talk about those words.
All of the students in the class are they them.
They have to be.
Yeah, legally.
You can't learn about
That's the law. You don't want me to break the law, do you?
I'm just suddenly reminded of I ain't never used a pronoun before, and I damn sure ain't gonna use one now.
Oh.
Oh shoot! You know what? I need to actually contact my history teacher because he writes some of the curriculum for high school history courses in Northern Florida. I need to talk with him and see about how that's going on. Get some conversations from the boots on the ground, as it were.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Stand to Reason. Says here are 6 reasons to trust the Bible. 1. its story fits together. I don't know what Bible
There's-
you're reading, but like,
But wait, hold
no.
on. All of my Bibles, the stories fit together perfectly well. There's even glue on the spine to make certain of that.
Okay, you want to go that route? My Corinthians are removable,
Oh well,
so
you know what?
It doesn't
Never
fit together.
mind. They don't fit. They don't fit.
It just doesn't fit.
So okay, on this first one,
That's my confirmation Bible. I've had that since 2001, I think.
if you're
2001, yeah.
if the story of your book makes so much sense, why did the most important story in it have to be told 4 separate times with varying degrees of information? Why did your genocide story have to be told twice and crammed together in weird mixed fashions? I'm just confused.
And on top of that, why do dozens and dozens, thousands probably, of books have to be written explaining what this one book that's story is so coherent?
God is not the author of confusion.
It's like,
the author of confusion.
Yeah, and then its prophecies have been fulfilled. I have yet to see a prophecy that would even count as a prophecy, like by actually being specific enough to figure out whether or not it has been fulfilled without being a failed prophecy.
These are as loose as Harry Potter prophecies. Could be Harry, could be Neville, who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Neville got screwed in the movies.
So did Ron.
Was that a he got together with Hermione joke, or that his character got screwed?
So most of the times where in the books Ron explains a basic thing about the wizarding world that makes it seem like he grew up in it as he fucking did.
Oh yeah, in the movies he's just a fucking idiot about everything.
Yeah, they're all handed to Hermione. Everyone. Ron's the one that gives the information about Devil's Snare in Sorcerer's Stone. Ron's the one that handles Ron handles a bunch of problems for Harry.
It's been a really long time since I've read the books, because like I don't know, I find like it's more than just J.K. Rowling and like trying to separate her from them, but like it's just there are better books out there.
There are better books. That there's nothing saying that, but there's also better books than the Darth Bane trilogy, and I've definitely read those an unhealthy amount of times.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's okay to like trash sometimes.
Yes, I still play Yu-Gi-Oh! Falsebound Kingdom.
I ate a whole pint of ice cream before the stream.
I had a milkshake before the stream, and I'm very lactose intolerant.
Oh, so you might have to end it in a hurry then.
Look, I've been lactose intolerant a long time. I can hold it for a bit. I'm trained in the ways.
I used to work with a woman who was lactose intolerant, and every day she would start her shift by making herself an Earl Grey latte.
Mm-hmm.
And she could never figure out why her stomach was acting up halfway through the shift. It's like, because a latte is just like, it was a little bit of tea and then a bunch of milk, and you're lactose intolerant. Like she just never made the connection between the milk in the latte being actual milk.
Yeah, the Cold Stones near me just got in almond milk ice cream for the first time.
Oh, nice.
And the ability to have an ice cream cone without suffering afterwards was a magical experience I have not been able to have unmedicated until that moment. So,
nice. Number 3, it resonates with our intuitions. Well,
why the fuck does that matter?
You know what? Even if it did matter, so I've raised my kids largely outside of religion. And I did start the podcast with my daughter, Bible Through a Child's Eyes, where I'm reading her the Bible I haven't told her that, oh, Bible's garbage, you got to not believe anything it says. I haven't preached against the Bible. I don't, like, in my normal everyday life, the atheism doesn't really come up. I just don't mention religion stuff for the most part. But neither has she gone to Sunday school and been in the Christian environment her entire life. So she's just kind of coming at it with no prior experience other than cultural. And
this is the Bible reloaded, but with a child.
Yeah, basically. But it does not resonate with her intuitions. Her intuitions have on numerous occasions been that God is an evil dick. She didn't say dick, but God is evil. She has called him evil several times, just from what it says in the Bible.
Is he the bad guy, Dad?
Yeah, basically.
Yes, probably.
And yeah, so now that I've mentioned the stream, I should mention she has expressed interest in recording again, so we might be resuming that soon. We're going to try and get a record session in this weekend, which means maybe next weekend I can get that edited by. So hopefully it'll resume soon.
So I love how number 4 and 5 are equally awkward to me. Number 4, it accurately records historical events. Cool. Then you know what? I'm willing to accept that on its face. I'm willing to grant that premise on its face. If that is enough for you to worship a book, then I've got a handful of textbooks right here, and if I can find a way to make a sexy nun out of them, I will, damn it. But past that, I don't see how a book written from contemporaries of events sometimes, I don't see how it's that cool that it would accurately record some historical events if it's written by contemporaries of those events.
But it also doesn't.
I know, sometimes it just doesn't. Sometimes it just does. I get that, you know, sometimes it's written like 100 years after the event, and they're just like, Bob told Earl, who probably was with Lisa last night and said it right after Cumin, that, you know, this man was hung up on a cross one day, and for some reason she talks about it every night on her knees, and I don't get it. Like, I get that there's a little bit of that he said, she said that goes on a lot in the Bible as well. But if we grant the premise that it accurately records history, then all we have is a book written by people that lived through certain events, and they talked about those events. Congratulations. You have all of the amazeballsness of a telephone conversation. You've done it. Congratulations.
Yeah. Fantastic. And it transforms lives. So does doing hallucinogenics.
Harry Potter's transformed lives. Playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Has transformed lives. Watching Pokemon has transformed lives.
Masturbating for the first time has transformed lives.
Yes, it did. Rouge the Bat has never left my memories. I mean, what?
Oh, I was surprised the first time. I did not know what was coming. There was an awkward hobble to the washroom.
I didn't quite have that problem, but I refuse to explain why.
Yeah, no, I'm not going into details either, but
but
that would be sexualizing children. I was a minor then.
You wouldn't want to get Kevin Sorbo angry. And then
it has survived despite attempts to destroy it.
I have destroyed a copy of Twilight. Do you want me to worship that shit now because there are other copies of Twilight? If there are 50 billion copies of a thing and I destroy 49 billion of them, is it super special that a billion of them are still around? No, it doesn't mean jack.
Well, I mean, like, they had the most powerful empire in the world behind them making copies of this book for several centuries. So, like,
shh, don't tell that to
like,
H.J. Thompson.
And yeah, well, what about, because, like, it has survived several attempts to destroy it, and it's like, okay, well, most of those attempts came before it became the official religion of the Roman Empire and got the official backing of the strongest empire on earth. But we have evidence that there are other books, other writings of early Christians that existed at the same time that did not survive, or that, they survived in much more fragmented ways, because the Catholic Church, when they became the Catholic Church, said, hey, this Docetus stuff, yeah, that's not us. That's heresy. You got to destroy that. And some of that stuff has survived despite the organization that's supposed to have God behind it trying to destroy it. I'd say that's a bit more powerful, wouldn't you? I
feel like a few of these people's minds would be blown if you just handed them some manuscripts from the Apocalypse of Peter.
Oh, that one's trippy. Is that the one where he heals his daughter and then re-paralyzes her after healing her, just like he just wanted to show that he could?
I don't remember that specific scenario from there. The main thing I remember from it is just, oh yeah, cool. This is the prototype for Dante's Inferno. Hold on. I have to see here.
Peter. Apocalypse of Peter. Oh, no, it's not the Apocalypse. I might be thinking of the Axe of Peter.
No, Apocalypse of Peter is a 100 to 150 AD document. It's where some of our like earliest writings on what hell is actually come from, in any like with any description other than it is a lake of fire, it is a place of torment,
gnashing in teeth,
or totally not Sheol. Like it's it's where we get the earliest versions of that, and then the Divine Comedy takes that work and then morphs it into the layers of hell we see in the Divine Comedy.
Yeah. All right, next we're going back to the beginning. We got Frank Turek. He says,
"Oh boy,
is there really good and evil, or are we just moist robots? Moist robots, dancing to the music of our DNA. If there is no objective morality, then there is no right to anything, whether it is abortion or the right to life."
So this is one, I feel like he just used right like 3 different ways in a single sentence with no delineation. I just heard right as a negative right as a positive right, and right as in something being morally correct, all in the same sentence. With this dude's an author, right?
Yeah. Well, allegedly
an author. So this is a mistake that shouldn't happen, right? It feels like that's just a thing that should. Also, he said moist. I'm sorry. You've got to. You said moist, and you didn't say the word that cancels it out. Scuba. Just because scuba's fun to say.
Really? I've never heard that.
No, seriously, just say it. Just say it. Say it slowly.
Scuba. That is.
See, it's a fun word.
It is a fun word. It
has no right being as fun. Apologies says, hey, my debate with Frank is premiering on Friday. Just saying. You know what? Shameless plug.
I like scoot myself. Scoot.
I'm banned from saying scoot in Magic the Gathering circles. There's a card called Scoot Swarm that doubles itself every time you play a land.
Scoot Swarm.
Literally the last game I had where I played it, I had 182,000 of them on the board, and everybody just kind of went, they all hit for 1 damage, and we all start with 40 life.
Okay.
This feels like overkill.
So my response on Twitter to this one was, because this is just a complete non sequitur. Like the point that he's trying to make just doesn't follow from anything that he says. So my response to that was, is there really hot or cold, or do Yetis survive by eating massive amounts of spaghetti?
Have you never seen a Yeti consume spaghetti? It's terrifying.
I do. I have a book called Don't Feed a Yeti Spaghetti. It's a board book. It's got a Yeti on the front with it. Like there's a hole in the mouth where you can put the felt spaghetti things.
Oh my God. So here's the thing that always bothers me about this kind of rhetoric. When you do this, you're kind of boiling people down to the sum of their parts, right? That's what he's trying to do. Like, oh, is this is everything just boring and shitty when we boil them down to their basic parts? And like, yeah, if you want to just call us flesh robots operating because our DNA said that we could.
Well, I mean,
yeah, cool.
Like,
why does that matter?
It's either DNA or God. We're still moist flesh robots.
Cool. So if it's just DNA or God,
what's
now
the,
we have to
what's
ask
the
the
point
question.
What's the point in using in like being reductionist like that?
The other question you have to ask at that point is, how much influence does he think DNA has in our like everyday thought processes, right? Like how we comport ourselves generally? Because there's another angle to this. Have you read Divergent?
No. I am aware of the concept. I haven't read it.
All right. So, are you okay with light spoilers?
It's already been spoiled mostly.
Okay. Okay, so this is the spoiler warning for the chat then, if you somehow have not read Divergent and want to.
Skip ahead either 30 seconds or 20 minutes, depending on how we do this.
But in the second book onward, the idea of the genetically deficient is added into the story. And they are functionally different brands of sociopath, almost, is the way the story describes them. Just people who are bred for a certain purpose and do not have the ability to function outside that box. And so they get all like jammed into a little society where they can only do certain things. And if they manage to be a functional human being and do more than one, then they get killed by the government because they're considered divergent. Not going to get into the details past that point, but it's very weird because you start seeing the book flirt with like almost kind of not really eugenics, but close enough. So when I hear people like Frank Turek talk about dancing to the music of our DNA, I'm just like, wait, if we're really getting that far into genetic determinism, there's some very yikes implications here.
Yeah, but he's putting those on us, though. That's not on his side. That's on us.
Yeah, this is the same thing that happens.
Did you just wink?
Maybe.
I don't know. Your avatar did a thing, and I thought you might have been trying to wink.
Oh, I can do that. That's easy. This is the benefit of the new tracking. I could actually, like, minor movements like that can be seen a lot better. They could not be tracked before at all.
I'm perfectly tracked. All of my movements, 100%.
You have a very cool perfectly. 3D model.
Yeah, I'm the ultimate VTuber. It's the darkening of the glasses in response to my saying that.
Oh no, I'm taking them off now.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have fights. I'm kidding.
I am only tangentially aware of the whole VTuber phenomenon, and probably only because of you, but I have had people talk, like they've made the joke about how like I'm really a rhino, so I have the meat avatar is really high quality. And
welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
Welcome to the internet.
All right, next up, also from Frank Turek, read the Bible with your kids and don't skip the hard stuff. Alisa Childers.
Feels like a thing that you actually do as a show on your channel.
I actually replied to that with like, hey, this seems apropos. My daughter said she wants to record again.
So what I love about this quote, my usual response to this quote, because again, this is one of the benefits of having a bunch of conservative friends. I get to say random shit and they'll go, that sounds made up. That's not in the Bible. And then you get to have you get to show them the passage.
And there she lusted after her lovers.
That's the exact one. That's the exact one that he's like, that's a fake quote. And I'm like, nah, here it is.
Ezekiel 23:20, bitch.
The other one that's fun is going, so like, having the conversation with them, like, oh, would you talk to them about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah? Oh, yeah, everybody knows that story. I talked to them. Be like, oh, including the part where Lot gets raped by his daughters. The what now?
Yeah, that's the only story that I've skipped so far.
Yeah, and probably for good reason.
Yeah, because I don't know.
It's yikes.
Like the best case scenario there is it's just going to be a really awkward thing to listen to between me and my daughter. It's like neither of us want to talk to the other one about that.
Congratulations, you have just become more moral than Frank Turek.
Yeah.
You did it. All it took was that statement. You did it. But
I mean, it's not hard.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I wanted to jump on that joke, and I'm choosing not to.
Oh, you wanted to jump on that joke?
God damn it! I was gonna say that's why they got the wine in the story. But
right. Next up, the next one's funny. I love this one. So we got to read it from the bottom to top. So Nick Adams, the one at the bottom, that one came first. Cancel culture has no place in American society. And then you don't see it from my timestamps, but I've seen it from other people who have other timestamps.
It's like minutes later.
No, 1 minute. Literally 1 minute later. It was 1 minute. He says Disney should be stripped of their self-governing status in Florida and lose all copyright protected by Congress. Boycott them 100% and cancel your Disney Plus accounts and credit cards. No irony, no awareness, 1 minute apart.
Yep. Remember, it's only canceling when the liberals do it. When we do it, it's righteous justice.
It literally says cancel. Like, I mean, obviously it's not like cancel Disney. It's cancel your Disney Plus membership. But it's the same thing.
I know it's the same thought process. Look, just because they don't know what they're talking about doesn't mean that they're not bold in their attempts.
But can I just ask, like, Disney has self-governing status in Florida? I didn't know that.
So the Disney park is basically its own like little city almost. And it has a lot of the rights that a city would, not a park.
So it's like a city. It's not okay. Because the way I've heard other people kind of mention this around the same time as this, and the way that I was picturing it was that like Disneyland is like its own state, almost like DC, and that just seemed really wrong. Like a city kind of makes more sense because they need to have the infrastructure and they need to have certain.
Yeah, it's functionally they have their own internal government.
Yeah.
Because the rule was Florida legislators set it up in the 60s. The argument was because the Disney World Resort was so large, it functionally encompassed the geographical mass of a city or town, and therefore needed to be granted the legal rights of a city or town. So it was given its own small government that functions outside of democratically speaking. Doesn't function that way.
I mean, that's not the most problematic thing that Disney's ever pushed for.
Yeah.
I can see an argument being made for that in some ways.
Considering that Disney actually tried to go further with that self-governing status,
well, I mean,
they planned What's up?
I mean, they are Disney, so
they planned a prototype community that was going to be south of Orlando, and it was them trying to take those legal self-governing rights and expand outward to create more functional Disney cities.
So not to bring it back to Henry Ford, but I'm picturing that little city that he made in Brazil to harvest the rubber trees, because he wanted to maximize the vertical integration. He wanted to be in control of every aspect of manufacturing to keep it away from the international Jew. And so he actually he started a colony in Brazil. He came to an agreement with the government where they let him have it. Like, he had his own rules. He had his own police force. He had his own everything. It was like a country within a country. And he was like super, he never visited the place, but he was like super micromanagey with it nonetheless. Like, he would, there was actually,
sounds like a mill town.
Yeah. That's what he did. He set up a mill town basically, but he would micromanage to the point where like he dictated what the people would eat there, and they didn't like the food that he chose for. There was actually a violent workers' revolt there because they didn't like the food. And this this Disney thing is making me think of that. It's crazy. Like. What was that called? It was like Columbia Town or something.
Godseed says, "What's an international Jew?" So Henry Ford wrote a document that the Nazis loved and quoted a lot, and it was basically a way of saying that, like, how do we handle the fact that the way that he worded it, if memory serves, it was like that Jews have a shit ton of banking power, and therefore they need to be handled a certain way. And that's a lot of rhetoric that the Nazis ended up adopting later. But when he said the international Jew, he meant the Jews as they existed almost as a banking clan in his eyes. Which, if it sounds anti-Semitic, yes, it is.
Because he was. Fordlandia is what it was called in Brazil.
Fordlandia. Remind me never to get citizenship there.
Well, it's probably a ghost town at this point.
Remind me to go visiting there.
Okay, I'm at Wikipedia. The town remained inhabited by roughly 90 people until the latter half of the first decade of the 21st century. Why do you have to say it like... Just say, like, the latter half of the first decade of the 21st century. Just say, like, between 2005 and 2010.
No, we have to write it like thespians.
What the fuck is that? No basic services were offered in the
Morgan
era.
Freeman narrating it.
I can't do Morgan Freeman. I've tried. It doesn't work well.
It was then that he knew.
Anywho.
He fucked up.
So yeah, we're going to end with Sorbet.
Again.
This isn't about Sorbet. This is more about the little interaction I had with the pizza guy afterward.
Mm-hmm.
Not Pizza the company, Pizza the guy who made that his Twitter username.
Wait, is there a pizza company?
Do you not have Pizza in the States?
We have Little Caesars, and their tagline is pizza, but
there's a company called Pizza.
Where is this company that has the fabled thing I love?
I mean, it's not great pizza. It's better than Little Caesars, but it's not great.
It's not hard to get better than Little Caesars, let's be fair.
Little Caesars pizza is okay when it's fresh. The problem is it's almost never fresh.
It's fresh for all of 2 minutes, and then you put it in your car, and then it's not.
Yeah, but even bad pizza's still good. Wow, I'm just shocked that you guys don't have pizza. They have like a cauliflower crust and everything.
There might be one somewhere, but like I'm trying to think of like locally to me, we've got, not counting local pizza joints, we've got Domino's, Papa John's, Marco's, Quick Trip, and Racetrack. And I think that's it.
Oh, Pizza does not currently have a branch in the United States. The Canadian-based franchise pizza company has its headquarters based in Toronto, Ontario. I didn't know that. That's fascinating. Okay, anyway, so this pizza guy says, so Kevin Sorbo said, stop talking to children about sex, to which I said, this is a recipe for ending up with pregnant children, to which this guy said, third graders can get pregnant? God, you're stupid. To which I replied, and I was a little bit proud of the reply, because like I knew someone was going to bring this up because the bill's about third graders or whatever, but Kevin's not talking about third graders. He said children, and in my eyes, anyone under the age of 18 is a child. Like, really, anyone under the age of like 23 is a child to me still.
Oh, don't worry. By the time you're 60, anybody under the age of 30 will be a child.
Yeah. So, but like legally speaking, anyone under the age of 18 is a child. So that's what I had in mind when I wrote my thing. I knew someone was going to jump on that, so I was happy when they did. And then he was all condescending about it too, so I got to be condescending back. He said, I mean, some of them can. Learn a bit about puberty, will you? Because girls as young as 6 have gotten pregnant in the past. It's unusual, but it can happen. So, yes, third graders can get pregnant. Doesn't happen often, but it can happen.
But in Tennessee, that's a feature, not a bug.
Oh, yeah, shut up. But then I clarified also, child does not equal third grader. Teenagers are children. Are you denying that teenagers get pregnant? God, you're stupid. I was just happy with my little reply there.
And you should be.
I don't insult people. I don't often get the thing pop up on Twitter asking, are you sure you want to tweet this? It seems kind of mean. But when I do, it's just like, yeah, I do.
I get that a lot. Maybe I'm just a mean person online.
Okay, so that was the last tweet. Now we got to do super chats before I forget. So let me just I have stream. My third monitor is like down low, and it's weird.
Oh, yours too.
Well, it's like a little portable monitor, and it doesn't quite fit underneath the other one. Is like connected by USB. It's just like that's where my music playlist goes.
Okay, yeah, for me it's just that I've got my 2 monitors on a standing desk and I can't fit the third on it, so that one just sits on the L desk. It's just there. Yeah,
no, this is just a crummy thing underneath it. But yeah, so just Lars still on the PayPals. Now let's go to super chats. So none your business for $4.99. Well, I'm not going to say the amount every time, but he says, right, because advocates of Sharia and communists get along so well. Right?
Yeah, no. They don't. Generally speaking, they don't.
Kind of like.
But all of our enemies have to be the same.
Mm-hmm. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right?
G.I. Joe. Everybody I don't like is Cobra.
Peebo Thulu said, my first super chat to you, be gentle. Hope you Yanks are doing swell with your conservatives. That sounds sexual.
Gentle.
That sounds sexual.
We can't be gentle. We only know pain.
Be gentle. I hope your Yanks are doing swell. I hope
you forgot the most important part. It's my first time.
It's my first time. Be gentle. I've got a swollen yank. Does that count as gentle?
I guess it just depends on how you handle it.
Yeah. None of your business again says, I've already sent a super chat. It wasn't read. That was when I remembered that I had to explain the new format because I'm organized. I'm trying to be organized.
He's doing his best, everyone.
Suris isn't helping.
No, not really. I can't even see them.
Zamdes says, test, not quite bad, but had a college philosophy professor who enjoyed making us seem like idiots from the questions we asked. Yeah, college professors can be condescending pricks at times. Other times, there are... I had a class once that it was an elective course that I took because it sounded interesting, but it was super fucking boring. And the person who taught the class, we were computer programmers, and he was in the computer engineering section of the school. So like we didn't have any other classes with him. He never saw us for anything else. He didn't care about us. We didn't care about him. So it was a 3-hour class, first thing in the morning in a really hot room. So nobody was paying attention. Everybody was like sleeping or playing video games on their laptops or whatever. So when it came time to do the tests, it would be multiple choice. The whole test would be multiple choice. And then you could just bullshit your way through it. And then he'd give you a grade, and then we'd take up the test as a class. Cause in theory, you're supposed to learn stuff as you correct the test. If you could explain to him, just give the most bullshit reason why you picked the answer that you did, it didn't have to make sense. It just as long as you could come up with something, his response would be like, yeah, I can see how you thought that. Everybody in the class gets an extra point. So the people that actually paid attention to that class came out with grades of 106%.
And learned nothing.
No, the people that learned nothing got 70 to 80%.
That's enough to pass and get a degree.
But it was a bullshit class. It was called Future Trends in Advanced Technology, and it sounds fascinating by the title, but it was actually a history of inventions, which could have been fascinating, but was not made fascinating. Okay, let's get through these super chats. I do have to go to bed.
Sleep is
None of your business again says 2 ADHD brains are greater than my 1 autistic brain.
No. That is not true.
It depends. There's a lot of variability that can...
It depends on the task we're trying to accomplish. It depends on which people have the brains. It depends on prior experience. Don't put yourself down like that.
And then Donald Boatger says, is this the magic tier? No, that one was not it. Peebo Thulu again says, the Vegemite debate. I present Amanda Palmer, the Vegemite song, as my defense, Your Honor. I'm not familiar with that song. I'm familiar with Vegemite's reputation, but I have never tried it.
Oh.
I imagine it's something like Spam?
No. It's... Imagine... what's the best way to put this? So, chili paste, right?
Kinda.
Okay. Take a really thick chili paste, but it's just vegetable protein and lots of salt. And if you can get a flavor out of that, then you know what? You're better than I.
So it's Spam, but with vegetables instead of ham.
And not solid. It's a spread.
Oh, okay. Oh! It's a spread. So you'd put it on toast instead of the Vegemite on toast.
That's why I started with chili paste. Spread it on things.
All right. None of your business again. 4.99 says American history from that time just sounds so British. Vice 2022. Yep, I did say that. None of your business again says, I've known that I was into BDSM since I was 11 years old, and back then I thought that there was something very wrong with me. Child inappropriate things are things children are capable of understanding. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old I was when the story I told earlier happened to me. I don't remember how old. I want to say it was around 11 or 12.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think of, like, I know I was in elementary school, but what flavor of it I couldn't tell you.
My memory is not specific enough to figure out how old I was when certain things started occurring to me. None your business again says, my life has been changed 4 times by 4 separate anime. There you go.
You watched Attack on Titan. Now you're into 4.
Elisa Nguyen, I think that's how you say that. I used to be really good at saying that last name when I worked in call centers.
And then you took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah. So the enemy of my enemy is another person who might try to slit my throat. That's the Game of Thrones school of the enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
And then None Your Business says, that was a self-deprecating joke, Suris. I assume that's the referring back to the autistic brain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it was, but at the same time, I would feel bad. Like, it's okay for the person who is deprecating themselves to be self-deprecating, but then for 2 other people that have massive platforms to then pile on top of that, it's like, yeah. I appreciate the humor, and I would absolutely say the same thing about myself in that situation, but I do not feel comfortable continuing on with that thread when I'm not in that situation myself, if that makes sense.
Oh no, that's pretty much my position as well. Just like,
it's well past my bedtime now, so I'm not the most articulate at the moment. You've kept me up late.
I'm sorry.
Godless Blessing says, wow, Rhino and Suris, thanks. That's the last super chat I'll read, so don't send any more. I mean, like, you can if you want, but it's not going to get read. Because I need to go to bed. That's not a challenge. Don't.
Well, I do want to say thank you for having me on.
You know, I wish we had this like more planned out, because there have been so many instances through this stream when I'm like, if I only had that one little sound bite queued up on my little soundboard thing, that would be appropriate there. So like you say that, I could have played like immediately Scar from The Lion King. Is that or no, Mufasa said it. Is that a challenge? But I don't have it because I didn't know that was going to come up.
Nope. Almost like this is all unscripted.
Spontaneity sucks sometimes.
Hey, Chip, let go of Slime Suris, you asshole.
Anyway, I'm going to hit the end credits button now, so thanks for joining me, Suris. If anyone wants to see more of you, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on a variety of channels. My main one is just called Suris. Suris the Skeptic. I talk about religion, atheism, politics, all kind. Basically, the stuff that Rhino brought me on for here is kind of what I do full time over there. I did just recently cover a video that was 100 questions for atheists. I had to do it in 2 parts. That was fun, kind of, sort of, not really. You can also find me talking about video games over on Necosuris, and you can find me talking about specifically Sonic the Hedgehog. With game apologist Wayne is Boston Channel Pup over on Sunset City.
Yeah, so I've got a link to your YouTube channel in my description. I imagine you have links to all that other stuff on your channel somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. All right, thanks for joining me. It's been fun. And I have to figure out a catchphrase sign off at some point. Bye.
Insert end of video tagline here. Aha,
yeah.
We did it.